Python is what we're going to take a look at today, but you'll find that a lot of the ideas around computational thinking are pretty similar with Python. Just the syntax is a little different, and syntax is our fancy way of saying how we write stuff, whether it's in actual spoken and written languages or in programming languages. So we are using Python inside a Jupyter Notebook, and a Jupyter Notebook is a document format for data science and other things where we can have what's referred to as literate programming. So you guys might have heard of literature or literacy. Those all come from the same root word of conveying ideas or writing things and reading things. So this literate programming allows us to have some text cells, as you see here. This one says Python turtles, and also to have code cells. And so we have the text that we can edit, and we can make it fancy and formatted, and we put some stars around something, it makes it bold. If you've ever edited Wikipedia or looked at how Wikipedia is edited, that's the same sort of way you can edit these cells that are called Markdown cells. And so Jupyter Notebooks really came from the idea of scientists wanting to communicate their findings and let other people also come to the same conclusions based on the data that has been collected and the analysis of the data. So we can have descriptions of what we're going to do and then code that actually does what we are going to do. We are going to, for this one, have some turtles that drive around on the or on the screen and make some art and maybe do some geometry and things like that. So the code cell that I have selected here imports this mobile Chelonian library, and we call it turtle, and then, or the turtle part of it, and we're calling our turtle T, although we could call it whatever we want. And then we're saying T, go forward 50 pixels, and a pixel is a little dot on the screen. So if we run that cell, we see we have a turtle that goes forward 50 pixels. And other things we can do, we can go T.right 90. Any idea what the 90 might be? If we're talking about right or left?
90 degrees.
90 degrees, excellent. You've done some geometry. That's exciting. So we're going to turn right 90, and then we're going to go T.dot forward, and this time we'll go 100. So if we run that, we turn 90 degrees, and then we go forward. And so far it's just black. Let's make it, we'll change the color, and somebody want to give me a color? Go ahead with your hand up. Sorry, I can't see the names in my view. Blue, okay. So we will call, whoops, wrong place to type. So we will make that blue, and let's see what happens. Oh, look, the color is now blue. So we can set the pen color, and it's like this turtle has a little pen sticking out of his stomach, or her stomach, and we can change the color. We can also do things like pen up, and then pen down. And so when the pen is up, the turtle's not drawing a line, but when pen is down, then the turtle is drawing a line. So that's sort of the basics of how to drive this turtle around. And we have a few other commands. So we can set the speed to be an integer between 1 and 10. Does anybody know what the word integer means? Yeah, go ahead.
Is it like a variable?
A variable, it is one type of variable, but in general in math, when we're talking about the word integer, what does integer mean?
Whole number?
A whole number, absolutely. That's a good synonym for integer. So we need, we can set the speed to be a whole number between 1 and 10. So it can't be 1.5 or 7.6, but any other number between 1 and 10. And for the most part, we probably want the speed to be 10, just so our turtle goes as fast as possible. We can turn left or right. We can go forward or backward. And we have to correct that. It says leo.left, so somebody renamed their turtle, and that's not going to work. So it always has to be the same name for the turtle the whole time. We can set the pen color. We can set the position to an X and Y position. If you've done a little bit more graphing or geometry, you might have talked about X and Y coordinates. Or hands up if you've played Minecraft. Okay, most people have played Minecraft. If you show the coordinates in Minecraft, that actually gives you the, and we've got 2 hands in the air, excellent, for some people. In Minecraft, you can show the coordinates, and that shows you the X, Z, and Y position that you are on the map. And I'm not sure why Mojang decided to have it in that order, but your X coordinate is how far you are kind of east-west, and then your Y coordinate is how far you are north-south. And so same thing here, X and Y. In this case, the top left of the square is 0, 0, and the bottom right is 400, 400. So the middle, of course, is 200, 200, and so on. So your challenge for this is to try to draw a house. And now to get your own copy of this notebook, you want to go to this URL. We'll make that even a little bigger. So tinyurl.com/Callisto Turtles, where it's a capital C and a capital T. And once you go to that URL, it'll ask you to log in with a Google or Microsoft account. Hopefully you have one of those. And it can be a school account or a personal account. And that will bring you to the Callisto hub and get you a copy of this Jupyter notebook.
Did you say sign in with a Google account?
Yeah, Google account or Microsoft account. It's up to you. Okay, so once you've got this loaded up and you see this Callisto banner at the top, maybe you can put 2 hands in the air. And actually, while you're doing that, I realized I should probably introduce myself. I don't know if you had an introduction to who is coming in as your guest speaker today, but my name is David Hay. I am an educator from Alberta, Canada, and I am involved with the Callisto project this year. Normally, I'm a teacher. I've taught high school physics and technology courses, and I also taught a few years of grade 6. And I've been an innovation consultant, technology consultant, mostly in an area that is just east of Edmonton, Alberta. And the Callisto project is sort of centered around Western Canada, but it is available, well, our resources are available anywhere in the world, but it's funded through a federal government program. So we are definitely encouraging use all over Canada. And we've got some interesting things happening, particularly in Ontario and a little bit in the Maritimes, and of course, across Western Canada. So has anybody been able to load this notebook yet?
No.
Yeah, it's still difficult.
It just said error.
Error. Let's see what happens when I go to that link. So it should, the blue bar goes across and we get a copy there.
But you're signed in.
Yeah, I was already signed in. So what happens if I, whoops. Let's put that bar. Okay. So if I try logging out here, let's just make sure this one, no, I'm logged into the Google Hub. Okay. Okay, so I'm logged out and we'll try that URL again. Sign in with my Google account in this case. And let's try one more time. So you might have to, after you're signed in, go to the link again. I thought we'd fix that, but looks like that might be a problem.
Okay,
So,
can you wait a sec?
Yep, no rush.
What's the link again?
tinyurl.com/Callisto turtles. And actually, I can probably paste it into the chat here. Oh. Did that go to everybody or just to one?
It just went to me. That's
oh, okay.
I have it set up. I can try to send it to the chat as well, actually.
Or they can type it in. Any successes so far? I know it's sometimes difficult to balance the having a Zoom meeting and then having another thing. There we go.
I'm in.
Excellent.
I'm in.
Good to hear.
Okay, I just have to go there again.
Okay, so I typed it in the chat if anybody wants to click on it to access.
It worked.
Excellent.
The blue bar is just loading.
Okay. Hopefully it stays blue and doesn't go red or anything.
I am signing into my Google account right now.
Okay, I'm in. What do I do now?
Okay, so now once you're in, and as the rest of you are getting in, you can try, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see all of those turtle commands that I was talking about. And your challenge.
But how do I go into that?
Oh, you may have to go to the link again. If you logged in and it just brought you to something that looked like this,
yeah,
then just go to the link again and it'll synchronize a copy of that notebook.
I don't think it's working.
So can you open a new tab and go to...
And I am in, I think.
So you can see the Callisto banner at the top and then the turtles.
Python turtles, I'm in.
Excellent, good to hear.
Wait, we're drawing a flower and a pointy flower as well?
Well, those are different challenges you can do. I would say start with the first challenge to do is to try to get your turtle to draw this house. So you have to draw a box.
Wait, where do you start making the card? I got on late.
So when you scroll down, you have this cell that has all of the turtle commands in it. And then underneath that, it says, can you get your turtle to draw this house? And it's got a picture of a house. And then right under that is a code cell where you can, it says from Mobile Chelonian, import turtle, import math. That's something you might need a little later, but not necessarily. And then we have, let's go back.
No, but where do I get in?
Thank you, Dad, for your help.
How do I make a new thing?
Well, if you want to make a new code cell, you can just click plus, and then you can start with t equals, well.
Oh, so you delete that all?
No, you can just start from here. So all this does is it goes forward 100, this cell that's there. So if you want to delete that forward 100 and go forward a different amount, but that's kind of your first hint for making your house. So we can go t dot right 90, t dot forward 100. I'm not going to give away all of the answers, but that's how we would draw the beginning of a house.
Wait, it shows you a grid.
Yeah, you can turn the grid on and off if you want.
So if you have the grid on, you can sort of go along, sort of like a cheat code.
A little bit, absolutely. And so you can see each, how much do you think each square on the grid is?
So it says
25?
Well, so if this line
nope,
was
20.
100, and there are 5 of them, yes, each square on the grid is 20. So if we go T dot pen color red, oops, and then T dot forward 20. you
Don't
can
give it
see-
away.
No, that's not actually part of your house. I was just saying if we turn on the grid, we can see the red part is 1 square. Okay, so I'll stop typing now. I'll give you guys a chance to do some typing to make a square and a triangle on top of it. Your turtle doesn't necessarily have to end up
I
there.
did. I'm missing just one line for my rectangle.
Oh yeah? Nice. So you have to
The,
add
the,
some more code.
the triangle very much confuses me.
Okay. So you have to think about, once you've done your square, what moves does the turtle need to do in order to make this triangle? So a little bit of geometry.
I did a square.
Okay, so you've got a square. That's excellent. And then the next step is try to put a triangle on top of that.
That's a 45-degree angle.
Well, I was going to say, if I do a 45-degree angle, look at what happens. So maybe try
So
something.
75.
Okay, you can try 75 and see what that does. And you could get out a protractor and do some measurements on your screen, holding a protractor up to your screen, or use a virtual protractor to do some angle measurements. Or you can just guess and check it and try different values for the angles and see what happens with that.
135.
Ooh, 135 is a good number.
I almost have square.
Cool.
And I have a square. Bravo me.
Nice.
Okay, Mac, do you know how to make a triangle?
What are you trying to do?
I do, but I'm not telling you how.
I'm almost done.
You have to use 45. I know. I'm doing it now.
And Mom, do you know that they are made out of so Mom, and we monster that almost got created and we're going to
Got a square.
Excellent.
I'm done.
Okay, if you're done, do you want to, are you guys able to share your screens? Maybe you can show us what you've
Yeah.
done.
Like so. Oopsie.
Yeah, that's the virus.
Nice. Doesn't quite line up, but it's really pretty close. There might be some rain leaking in through that corner right there at the end, but definitely it looks good. It looks like a house.
Mac, full screen your thing.
That's fine. We can see it.
Oh no, Alexa, don't want to show you the answers.
Yeah.
This and this.
Anyone else have a house or close to a house or even just a rectangle that they want to show off?
I'm almost done, but I don't want to show it right now.
Okay, that's fine.
I think I figured it out. So close.
Is when you turn right, does the number have to be an integer?
That's a good question. I don't think it does actually. I think you can put in any value.
That needs to look a bit like a house.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close. So you probably want your.
Don't show Lex the code.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so you probably want the first part of the roof to be a little longer and the last one
That's
to be
what
there.
I'm changing right now.
Yeah.
Not that long though.
I don't know if the adults are following along and trying this out as well, but you can show off your screens too if you want.
The bubbles so bad, Pasadena did like the bubbles so bad. The bubbles so bad, Pasadena. The bubbles so bad.
I did it.
All right, let's see. One more show and then we'll go on to another idea here. You want to show it off?
So I think I did it. That's why it's not going to show it though.
Oh, okay.
Look, run.
Yeah.
If you do it, doesn't let you. It doesn't show.
Okay. Well, all right. That's fine. So we'll go back to. Oh, let's see. Sure. Okay. We can go back to my screen sharing here, and we'll.
Did it.
I made a house.
Nice. Good
So
stuff.
did I.
Yeah. So you can try out making some other things as well. And we actually have an art contest that we're going to talk about at the end. I don't know what our time frame is like for this, but we have some other ideas about Python, some programming concepts. So when you were making that house, you probably had to type t.forward 100 and then t.right 90, and you had to do that 4 different times. What I've done here is made a loop that repeats it 4 times. So I only had to type this once,
I did my
and
so it shows it.
it goes through that 4 times.
No.
Yeah.
In
No,
Python,
you didn't.
this is called a for loop, where we have for some variable in the range 4. That means going from 0 to 3. It's going to do these things. And in fact, let's try another code cell, and we'll say for x, or let's say for variable range 4 colon print variable. And so it prints out 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it does it 4 times from 0 to just before whatever number that is. So if we do this 4 times, that
I got a
gets-
house exactly.
Excellent. Good to hear.
I really want to show. I really want to show everybody.
All right, let's see what yours is.
Okay.
Oh, I want to show everyone mine.
Okay.
It's not what you wanted me to do. It's literally what you wanted me to do, but not figuratively.
Okay.
That was so annoying. Why does it bring me down? Why is it bringing me?
Oh,
Like-
it takes you to the next cell?
Yeah, when I click run.
I can tell you a keyboard shortcut. When you have a cell selected, if you hold the control key and press enter, then it'll just run the cell and we'll go on to the next one.
I got it to work. Can I show you?
Can I screen share?
But yeah, there we have a good
Can I screen share? Because I got it to work.
good house. It looks like it's pretty close to lined up, so that's excellent.
Well, I am.
It is lined up.
Well, if you move your turtle forward a little more at the end, we might
I
see that it
asked
doesn't quite.
first.
So if you change your last line to T dot 120 or something, you might see that it goes a little off, but that's fine. And then if we see the next one here, excellent. I like that it has a little bit of different architecture to your house. That it's
Well,
not
can I
exact.
screen share and show you mine?
So that works well. Nice. Okay, one more. Let's see whoever was just asking.
Can I screen share?
Sure.
I will ask him first.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know who.
One.
Yeah, again, it's pretty close to lined up. Okay, we will have one
But
more
I want
for
to show you
whoever
if
was.
I do 100. Look.
I'll-
It actually is lined up.
But you went too far. It's not exact.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I did 100 so you could see it lined up.
It's not exact.
75 is perfect.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Pretty
Yes, it
close.
is.
Okay, was there one more screen share we wanted to see?
Yes.
Okay, let's see what you've got.
Okay. I'll screen share. Do you see it?
Not yet.
It's still loading. There we go.
Okay. I'll run it. That's weird. What's the
Oh.
shortcut?
Control Enter. So when you have a code cell
So
selected,
so click on it and then click Control Enter.
nice. Looks good.
I
And
did 100 so you could see that it's exact.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Now we could do a little more math with that. We could do some geometry of triangles. In Alberta, we start that in grade 6, so I'm not sure how much you guys have talked about the geometry of triangles. And in junior high, you'll probably talk about sine, cosine, and tangent, and we can do some fun calculations with that, so you don't have to guess and check. But for now, I think that's really good. So let's go back to my screen. And I started talking about a for loop, so for variable in range 4, we can print that out. We can also have this kind of spirograph square thing where we take the same code of t dot forward 100 and t dot right 90, and we want in range, well, let's start out with just range 4, and then that draws a box. But we can also have this, we can add another bit of code. So we can say for x in range, let's try 15. And then Python needs indentation to be able to tell when something is inside a loop and such. So we just tab that over. And after we draw a box, we're going to t dot right maybe 30 degrees. So what's going to happen here is 15 times it's going to draw a box and then turn right 30 degrees. So we'll see what happens with that. So we start to see some cool patterns coming from the code that we've written. So in just really 5 lines of code, and it's going to keep going over it because 15 was maybe more than we needed, but in just a few lines of code, we see it starts to draw kind of these pretty patterns like that. And then there's a little more about how to define functions and things like that. But
Mine has
I'll
an error.
give you a chance to try that. Okay, so what is the error? An important thing about programming is to read the error messages. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the error message.
Indent.
It says, oh, I figured it out.
Yeah. So if I leave off
See?
this,
Mine has an error, a weird one.
Okay.
It says unexpected indent. Can I
Okay.
share my screen?
Sure, go ahead and share your screen.
Oh, I made a star.
Nice. Okay, so unexpected indent means the line that starts t dot forward 100.
Started at indented block.
Yeah, so it expects it to be indented. So if you just put your
Which one?
cursor at the start of that, at the 2 lines down from that where it's t dot forward.
Can I show you my star?
So just right in front of the T. Oh, one more over there you go. And then press the tab key. And then same thing for the next line. So that's putting those 2 lines inside your for loop. Now you're missing one more thing. For I in range, you didn't tell it how many times to do that.
Can I share my screen?
Maybe, okay, that'll work. So it's just gonna go around the square a few times. So
How
that,
do I make it a star?
so the second for I in range 15, we want that to be for I in range 4.
Can I share my screen?
Sure, go ahead.
Look for I in range 4.
And then the one we're seeing right now, we're
Oh,
missing just one
stop
more line of
sharing.
code. But yeah, we'll get you to stop sharing.
What am I missing?
This is my star.
Nice. So you see how
Wait.
it's for
Wait,
X in
no,
range.
that wasn't it.
Okay, let's try something a little different. Here we go. Okay, so 15
Wait,
times it's going through
actually-
making a square and then turning right 30 degrees.
Wait, actually, no, I think it was 100. Yeah, it was 100.
Yeah, try that and see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at mine.
You see it starts to draw some very cool patterns with just a little bit of code here.
I'm doing 200. Max, try it 200.
All right, we're going to make things a little
So cool,
prettier
Matt.
Try doing it
with,
instead of 100, like 100, 200.
sure. Just one more thing that I'll show you here is changing colors. So we're going to make a Python list
I'm gone too far. It's just 200 only.
and we'll have whatever colors we want in the list.
Max, look at mine.
So
T like 200.
let's put that. Yeah, actually we have that scroll a little further
I have
down.
a question. Can I share my screen? There's a
Sure.
really good one.
Okay, let's see. Oh, that's pretty cool.
One. No, it's not start like that. How do I clear it? Because look.
Okay, so if you
Yes.
go back up to it, I don't know where you were coding. There we go. So what you can do is if you just run it again,
There we go.
It-
See, now.
yeah, the T equals turtle, that clears it out again. You can see every time the turtle is turning right 200 degrees.
And see,
Which is
it
the
makes
same
cool
as-
design.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of right 200, we could actually say left 100 and, would it be 160?
Yes. Because they make 260 together. Now if I do 10,000 and it will just run.
No, I did 100,200.
And
Yeah.
it just runs because if you do 360 or higher, it just spins in circles.
Yeah, exactly.
Now this is a cool design.
Mm-hmm.
You guys try doing it.
Let's try adding some color first. And I think that'll make the designs even cooler.
So I make it rainbow so it changes color.
You can, absolutely. So what I have here is a list of colors. And if we want rainbow order, we could say red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple.
So,
Okay,
so
so
what do you like to make it colorful?
We're
so
missing violet.
what we're doing here is we have a list of colors, whether it's just 3 colors or more colors than that. We have a list of colors, and then we're not going to worry too much about the define and things like that in here. But
How do I make it rainbow?
okay, so if you scroll down to where it says let's add colors to our flower using a list, then we can do it like this. So I'm going to use all of those colors. And if I run this code, oh, what's happened here? Oh, for I in range 4.
Oh, look, I
It's
can't
missing
find
some parts
it.
to it.
I can't find it. Where's the, look, can I see my screen because I can't find it.
Okay, we'll let you share your screen here and my turtle will continue to run.
Hey, it's working.
Okay, so if you scroll down some more, keep going, you're about halfway there. A little more and you'll see it says something about colors. Okay, there we go. So the one that says now let's put it all together.
It worked.
If you select that, yeah, so that one just declares a loop. And then the next one loops through that, but then the one after that will actually show our
Can I see
colors.
yours? I think you can only have 3 things in a list.
No, you can have multiple.
It's
But
not working for me.
so
though.
what I've done is I also changed this value in here to a 6 instead of a 3, because I now
Ah.
have 6 colors in the list. Or if we want to get even fancier, let's not worry about it. We could say I percent the length of the colors.
Actually draw it.
But we'll leave it like this for now. So
Wait,
you see,
can you do it? I want to see what it looks like.
all right, let's run that again. So we have a red box, an orange
No,
box,
what you
a yellow.
just said.
Okay, so because I now have 6 colors in my list here that I've written out, I'm going to divide by 6. Now, this percent sign here is something you'll learn about in later math courses.
I have learned about it.
Oh, okay. So, oh yeah, that's right. You've probably done some programming with that. So that's basically divide by and divide by and give me the remainder. So
Right.
I will be a number between 0 and 17, depending on which point of the loop we're in. So take that number divided by 6 and tell me what the remainder is. And then we're going to take, if the remainder is 3, we'll take the third thing from the, from the list, that number from the list.
You can also do colors I percentage colors dot length.
Yes, you can, absolutely, if you wanted to get fancier. And then you don't
Wait,
have to change this value.
are we able to change the speed that it goes?
Yeah, you can change the speed down to a smaller value. 10 is the fastest.
Oh,
But if we set it to 5, then you see it's a little slower.
I'm going to try 1.
Yep, absolutely.
Mm.
And that's the great thing about programming is you can try things and see what happens. And unless you're pushing code to some system that a huge number of people are using, then it's not a big deal if you, break something.
Can you do 1? I want to see what 1 looks like. But
How
the
fast
full
1 is
thing,
going?
yeah.
Oh,
the
that's
full
so
thing one.
slow.
Yeah, so our turtle is very slow, as turtles should
Keep
be.
it on 1. I want to see it go until it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's basically our quick introduction to some things in Python. I will leave you with this notebook though. We didn't really talk about defining functions. We just talked about loops and a little bit about variables and things like that. But if you want to look at a little more in how it's working, I'm a big fan of sort of giving people some code that works, or maybe with some little tweaks needed to it, and then getting to figure out how
Oh,
it
can I
works
show you something?
as you're going along. So yeah, if anybody wants to show what theirs is looking like.
I just did, I went on the one below and pasted it. Look what it does. Wait, no. Wait.
Yep. So then we have our slow turtle.
Wait,
because the
it
speed
used
is
to
one.
be doing like 2 things at the same time. Like 2 squares.
Well, if you have another, so the t equals turtle makes another square, but if you have another code block and you don't include t equals turtle, but you tell the t to do something, then it'll do it in that square that you've already set up there. So that might have been what was happening.
No, like it used to be like doing 2 things at the same time. I just copied and pasted it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it could be that you just had another code cell running at the same time. Cool. Does anyone else want to?
Wait, I think this also does the same thing, but it just takes longer.
Yeah, it ends up being similar. Okay,
Oh,
we have
that's
another one
like-
who wants to share.
That's just like a flower.
Cool.
Look.
So range. Oh, we lost it. It said range expected a value, and there wasn't one there. There we go.
It doesn't move.
Okay, is number 43, so, or not 43, but the cell that has a 43, meaning the 43rd time you run it. Try running that again. Let's see if we Oh, there's the problem. Under the line def box units for I in range, you need to put a value in there. So put a 4 in there.
4 or 18?
Put a 4 in there because that's drawing the square, and we want our square to have 4 sides. And there we go.
Congratulations.
Excellent. And so then, as it says at the bottom, your next challenge is to try to draw
It's
a pointy flower. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to continue doing some Python, so here's my slow turtle continuing to draw this one here. But if you want an even bigger challenge, try drawing something with not squares, but with this kind of diamond-shaped thing, and see how that would be a little different. Now, I'll give you guys a hint. If you go back to your home in Jupyter Hub, there is a folder called TM Teaching Turtles. We were looking at Python Turtles, the student version.
Where is home?
So if you click on the Jupyter Hub at the top left, and that will bring you to the home, and then you go to TM Teaching Turtles, that is Teenage Mutant Teaching Turtles.
Yeah.
Within that, we were looking at the TM Python Turtles, the student one. The instructor one, that's for grown-ups because it has all the answers, because sometimes grown-ups don't learn as quickly and they need the answers. So that is the one the instructors can look at, or you guys can look at now that you're familiar with it and if you want to try some different things. But from the bottom, there's also a link to the next thing to do with turtles and dictionaries. And dictionaries, not the physical paper books that you might see on a shelf, but dictionaries in terms of programming, and you guys might have come across them in the Java programming that you've been doing. And then after the dictionary turtles, there's one on data turtles, which is actually doing some data science using the pandas library. So lots more fun things to try out. Yeah, what's the question?
So how can I share my screen?
Sure.
So how do I make this colorful?
You need a list.
So
Look on your last one.
So this,
Yes.
how do I make this? How do I make this one? Not this one like the same pattern as it, except colorful.
yeah, so what you see
It
is,
doesn't just drop boxes.
yeah, under the line for I in range 25, it says T dot pen color colors I %.
That's all.
So you want that line in your other code, and you'll also need the color list. So if you copy that, oh, you might have to Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac. So have that right under your range, or actually at the top or bottom, doesn't really matter.
Here?
No, you want it inside the for loop, inside the first for X in range 30. Right there, yeah. And now you see it's too far over, you have to put your, yeah, there you go. Okay, now if you run it, see what happens. Because you've actually already declared that color list, so it'll still remember it.
Ooh, I want to see it.
And
You guys want to see it?
Oh, you have to, wait. Why isn't it doing all the colors?
it might be that your color list, you may have just used a different version of the color list. So maybe scroll back down and get the color list that has all 6 in it, or whatever ones you're using.
Hey, Will, can you screen share the full thing?
Because I need to fix it first.
Sorry, you want me to screen share what it? Oh, no, there we go.
So now, what else do I need to bring?
So the line that says colors, it has that list of colors.
One?
Yep. Copy that, and then scroll up,
I have a question for you.
and then just put that before the for X in range 30.
David,
Yes.
was Gmail made with Python?
Google does use Python in a number of their
Now it's just
products.
green.
I'm not sure how much Python. Well, that's interesting. Well, we'll see. Oh, we need to change the I to an X in the t.pen colors I. So yeah, change that I to an X. Yeah, so I'm not sure how much Python there is in the back end of Gmail, but that would be something you can probably look up. I'm sure Google has some documentation about
Do you
that.
want to see it?
Sure, let's see.
Not that. One.
Yeah, so there's the red, orange, yellow, and there we go. So now you should all be set up to do our
Make it finish.
art contest that we have. This is the second round of the art contest, and if you look on the Callisto social media, you'll see the winner from the first round. But on the Callisto website, if you can let me screen share again, we have a Callisto student contest.
When we wait to finish, it's going to look really good.
Sure, we'll let this one finish. So the Callisto art contest is something you can have your teacher submit your art that you create with the turtle, and
Okay, I'm just going to look at it. Needing
right.
a universe of needs.
See, it also
Wait,
looks
what's the website? Like,
once I can screen share again, I'll show you, but it's CALLYSTO.ca.
Oh, it looks cool.
Yeah, that does look very cool. It looks like one of those balls that you sort of pull out and it expands.
Yeah, where's the
and-
turtle though? I couldn't see the
oh,
turtle.
Oh, the turtle went away.
oh, they made like a bunch of dots. Wait, I don't see it
But if I
though.
make the turtle come longer,
I don't see it.
You don't see which.
look, now if this one comes 35 times, the turtle will stay after the 30th.
All right. So just before we finish up here, I wanted to mention the Callisto contest.
Wait, can I
A-
share my screen?
A code. One more second here. So using code to draw with the turtle, callisto.ca/Callisto contest, or if you just go callisto.ca and you can click on student contest. There is a starter notebook that's similar to
Oh, that's
what
good.
we were looking at here. And it's also available in French if you prefer. And you can fill out, or your grown-up can fill out the Google form there to submit the artwork. And the contest for this round closes on May 2nd, 2020. So if you do, or your grown-ups have any questions about that, there's an
What do you
email
win?
address, and we will reply to that. So
You win.
I'll stop sharing. I think our communications person will have to remind me, but I believe it's a $50 Amazon gift card.
Yep, it's an Amazon gift card, David. So it's a good one to enter into, guys. Would absolutely recommend you give it a shot. You guys did great work today.
I don't need Amazon though.
But you like free stuff, right?
Is that
So-
kind of like maple leaf?
Yeah, so
It is.
the example I have
don't
there
need
is,
Amazon gift cards. I want something for me, not for my parents.
well, get your parents to buy you something from Amazon. I know I actually just ordered from Amazon for my daughters an Oculus Quest virtual reality headset. So, I mean, I say it's for my daughters, but it really is for me. They'll get to play with it sometimes too, though. So you have to convince your grown-ups then to buy you a VR headset or something. But that's a little.
How much was it?
I think it's about $550. But so you might have to chip in some of your allowance too.
I only get $10 a month, and I haven't gotten my allowance for the past couple of months. So
Yeah, you're a little behind on that. Oh well.
yeah, and I used all my money on a video game.
Oh yeah. Well, interest rates are pretty low right now, so you could probably take out a loan if you'd prefer that. But anyway, we